Welcome to Deep Thought. The world is way deeper than people realize. I was thinking about that. I'm going to tell you what, I saw that movie, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, and some of the stuff happening, and I'm just like, yeah, people be surprised how, that's like pedestrian compared to some stuff actually happening. There was a famous shaman from West Africa of the Gara people, Malidoma Same. And I got to check real quick. I don't know if he's passed or not. But anyway, he grew up in a culture where what we consider magic is normal and fantastic and super. It's just normal to them. But then he had gotten kidnapped by some French missionaries and was in some type of school that were trying to convert him. But then what he did, he actually escaped that school, went back to his people, went through initiation, which was incredible. Because part of his mission in life was to reach out to Western cultures. And he's done it. He did all of that. But I read a book of his, of Water and Spirit, and he was talking about an incident where he got a generator that could generate electricity and a TV monitor and took it back to his village. And he showed the elders in his village Star Trek: The Voyage Home. Now, it had all this technology and everything, and the elders didn't see it as fiction. Now, somebody would say, oh, no, that's fiction. Not to the elders, because they understood warp drive. Their only thought was they could have did it more discreetly. They were like, oh, yeah, we can do that. Well, we don't need a machine to do it and stuff. And in fact, they considered Spock this mystical being. Only difference was they say, we never seen one that tall. It's like, wow. And, people would say, oh, that's crazy. Oh, they're primitive and stuff. And it'd be easy to say that if you haven't seen that. But let's just say, just within this country, within the United States, you got some groups on some deep stuff. Some stuff you would think is like fantastic. Like if you saw it in a movie, it's like, it's no way. And you like, oh, okay, but you're sitting there watching it happen. Trust me, I've seen some stuff. Trust me. And I was thinking about that. The world on many levels, and not even just a supernatural level, is just deeper than people realize. We see a lot of the surface. We see the surface of things, but there's always a deeper level of knowledge. Now, on one of my on my other channels, somebody was asking me if I was a Mason. And I'm saying, no, I've known some Masons, and of course, and I've never set foot in a Masonic temple, never set foot. Somebody tried to recruit me, but one thing about Rom, I'm funny, unless I know the end result of something, I'm funny about joining anything, and not for some conspiracy reason or something. Honestly, that just wasn't interesting. But you'd be surprised. And I know some Masons, actual Masons listening, is like, yeah, Uncle Rom, you cool. Don't trust me. Don't tell anything. In fact, I would be surprised some hit me up with the Masonic reference and I'll just hard to comment, not really knowing what they're saying. But if you think about the Masons, they're on a deeper level. Every single Mason I've met, male Mason I've met, always carried themselves at a deeper level. Always had a deeper way to them. But the average person on the street doesn't have any idea, And see, that's just one level, because you have a ton of secret societies that have always existed. Even smaller spiritual paths that, let's just say, they aren't public. And indeed, if, according to many, and you could call them conspiracy theorists, the world's run by secret societies anyway. But there's always another level to everything. And indeed, even beyond the supernatural, if you look at in these corporate boardrooms, and I was told by someone who's actually been there, they actually, when they put out products, they have built-in obsolescence. They actually thinking about, they doing stuff that they're not sharing with the public. In fact, on the technical level, the internet could have been was created back in the 60s. And they had the technology for everything, and a lot of stuff isn't shared. This organization, Defense Applications Research, I forgot what the P and A mean, DARPA. They have a lot of technology they just haven't released yet. A lot of stuff. You know what? Somebody might come up with something new out there and everybody's going crazy, but they had the technology 20 years ago. In fact, a lot of stuff with the electric cars, I remember having a conversation with someone in the early 2000s about the possibilities. And they still haven't reached it, but this was somebody who actually got blackballed. I'm going to tell you what, the world is deeper. It's more than what we see on the surface. In fact, I'm not big on talking on politics because I don't need the unnecessary attention. Trust me, I get enough. But whatever we see happening on the political scene, there's a lot of stuff going on in closed doors and stuff, just on a basic level. That's why I don't care what party the politician is. I don't trust them. I'll just say that straight up because there's always more going on. And, let's bring this back around to the type of people out there. I remember a mentor. Now, this is a shaman, definitely powerful individual. I remember he just casually threw out to me. He said, oh, yeah, 98% of the population is descended from one womb. And I would ask him, I was like, 98%? What about that other 2%? And he just smiled. I was like, let's just say everybody might not be the same out here. And I know from I'll just say some spiritual adepts, everybody doesn't have the same type of spirit. But here's the point, though. The world is deeper. And even for the little bit I shared and the lot more that I know of, there's still probably some. I would not be surprised. Like vampires. And I don't mean psychic or energetic vampires. I wouldn't be surprised there's some vampires out there, some group, and they just blending in. Because there's a lot out there. It's like when I talk about subcultures, there's a lot going on. People see the surface. Like I'll use an example. Here's an analogy. Let's look at the black community. Now, I know all of you aren't of that African American community. We have some folks who follow this channel from the diaspora. We have people from other branches of humanity here, and that's cool. But there's a tendency to look at the black community as one big monolith. But anybody really scratching the surface will say, wait, it's way deeper. You have several subcultures. I said one day I'm going to take a month out and just work on identifying each single one. I know somebody going, hey, can you do this? Like, if I get time, yeah. Because anybody's paying attention, there's a big difference between someone who's, shall we say, hood, and then someone who's bougie. And in fact, and I pointed this out to somebody, you can even tell physical differences between, shall we say, old money blacks. Old money, like going back to the 1800s. In fact, their ancestors might have been black slave owners. There's a big difference in how they even look genetically, how they even looked, even aesthetics, and someone whose ancestors were more solidly in the field, so to speak, because it wasn't every single one. It's a lot too, a lot of nuances. So anyway, that's just something to think about, just in general. And I just used that one example. It's so many things out there, so many races, so many cultures, so many subcultures. Some of them I would personally consider dysfunctional, and not on a good thing. And every now and then I'll see something about it. Let's just say it's something. So just understand that. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Think on this. Peace and blessings.